This is Michael Orrell from MobileBurn.com, and today I have with me the Samsung Moment for Sprint. It's Sprint's second Android powered device. We're just going to open it up, take a quick look at what's in the box, and then we'll take a look at the handset itself. Here's the phone. Sliding keyboard here. Set that aside and we'll go over in a little more depth in a moment. First, let's take a look at what's in the box. Inside this blue plastic bag here, looks like a micro USB cable. That's correct. A pair of 3.5mm stereo headphones. And this is the Samsung charger, also micro USB, as you would expect. In terms of manuals, what do we have here? So, getting started guide. Looks like there's an adapter for a micro SD card. Should be a 2 gig card pre-installed. Phone recycling bag, warranty information, product registration, and of course the basic user guide and features guide. I've pulled off the protective cover so we can take a better look at the device. Hit the power button here for a couple seconds, start the power up process. It's a 3.2-inch half VGA resolution AMOLED display, so it's an active matrix organic LED display, which means there's no backlight. Each pixel emits its own colors, which is nice. Saves battery powered when used with black-based themes and such, and also just provides far more vivid colors. In terms of the hardware design, you can see it's a slide-out QWERTY keyboard, offset keys, 4 rows, but unfortunately only 3 of the rows are meant for the alphabetic keys and the spacebar. There's a dedicated row for numbers, which might sound good for dialing, but with the touchscreen I don't really think that's an issue. What it means is that the spacebar gets in between the B and the V key and throws off the layout of the keyboard. On the left edge here we have a volume control, little lanyard fixing point there. Up top, it looks like a 3.5mm headphone port. It's covered. Covering that's okay, I guess, but the micro USB port over here, I wish it wasn't covered. It's a lot more convenient considering most of these Android devices need to be charged daily. I'd rather just have the port without a cover. This looks like a voice dialing button, and this appears to be the camera shutter button. Nothing at all except the microphone hole on the bottom. On the back of the device, you can see it's a 3.2 megapixel camera. It's autofocus, has an LED flash, and there's also a self-portrait mirror. Grill for the speaker, and Samsung Moment and the with Google branding on the back. Phone's now powered up, so you can see the gorgeous AMOLED display. It's only 3 home screen panels. This is a with Google device, and as such it's pretty plain Jane. Let's take a look and see what kind of extra widgets and things like that are offered. We've got NFL Mobile Live, Sprint TV, and 2 different weather channel widgets, but otherwise pretty generic, pretty much stock stuff. Shortcuts also looks to be generic. Look at the wallpaper gallery. Now this image that we're using right now we can recognize from a lot of different Samsung devices, especially the AMOLED devices. The rest of the backgrounds look like they're base level cupcake stuff. Let's hit the touch sensitive menu button right here and we'll go into settings and see what version of the OS it's running. So this is Cupcake, it's 1.5. You can see right here. SPH M900, the official name. The touch sensitive buttons seem to work pretty well. Don't have any issues whatsoever with them. And the screen also seems to work pretty well. That there must be one of the weather widgets we saw. I'm going to pop open the keyboard here and see if we can just get to something where we can create a message without going through and signing up for Gmail and all that kind of stuff. Keyboard feels okay. It's kind of rubbery. I can feel a problem though right here in between the spacebar. The spacebar appears to be just two separate buttons. If you hit the right or the left edge, it works really well. If you hit in the middle, sometimes nothing happens. Yeah, right here I'm pressing it and absolutely nothing's happening. So that's a bit of a problem. Definitely a little bit weird. The layout's not horrible, I suppose, but the spacebar seems to be pretty bad, and I really wish they had gone with letters on that extra row so you could just get a spacebar and other controls. Do have some controls down here though. You can see the arrow keys on the right hand side. There's the function key, function with the shift to get to the symbols. Just not really pleased with the layout there. There doesn't appear to be much customization that's been done by Samsung, but I noticed that if you hold down the voice dial button here, it brings up Nuance's voice command system, which is much nicer. It's used on a lot of Samsung phones and phones from other manufacturers, and it works really well. It's speaker independent and allows you to do all sorts of things. That's going to be much nicer than the default Google voice dialing. This is the dialer application. You can see it looks pretty stock Android. Here's the main menu. See Google Maps, some sort of IM client, NASCAR, NFL Mobile Live, Sprint TV, Sprint Navigation. So definitely some Sprint applications in there. And this one, work email, is probably the Exchange client. Yep, that is the Moxier Mail Exchange client. So we'll look at that more in detail in a later video. So that's enough for now. I have to get acquainted with the device before I go spouting off too much on it. But we can tell you some specs. It's got an 800 megahertz CPU, so one of the faster phones in the country at the moment, no pun intended. It weighs about 162 grams, roughly 5.7 ounces, and it's 16 millimeters thick, which is about 6/10 of an inch, I guess. And we'll show you what it looks like compared to a Motorola Click for T-Mobile, just for relative comparison here. Don't judge the screen brightness. I have the AMOLED display all the way up and the Motorola is all the way down. But just look in terms of size. You can see they're both sideways sliders, both have 4 rows of keyboard. It appears that the Motorola is a little thinner. It's a little hard to tell. They have different shapes, but we'll look at that more in detail later. And while we're at it, we'll take a look at the Moment compared to a HTC Hero, which is also for Sprint. You can see the Hero is quite a bit smaller, although it lacks the hardware keyboard. It does have the same size half VGA display though. So anyway, that's our first look at the Samsung Moment for Sprint. It'll be available November 1st for $179.99 with a 2-year commitment. I'm Michael Orrell for MobileBurn.com.